Hello everybody, Your Life My Hands here. Welcome back to my kitchen. This video actually is brought about because of a comment on my mushroom ketchup video, which is a great way to get me to try things. You just gotta suggest things, I'm all about it. So the question was, because of the watery, very watery consistency of mushroom ketchup, could mushroom ketchup be used as a wet brine or marinade for meats and other things like that? And I started thinking, that's a really good question, because I've tried marinating certain things when I was younger, like, oh wow, soy sauce is really good. How about I marinate something in it for a while and cook it? And I have found that really salty things can tend to dry out meats and other things like that. The salt just draws the moisture right out of it. However, mushroom ketchup, I think, may do okay if I only marinate it for a few hours. And I got a ribeye. Beautiful. I mean, just gorgeous ribeye. So I'm going to be marinating this for just a couple of hours. And I want to pull it out, pan sear it, and just do a quick cook on it for a nice, hopefully medium rare. We'll see how it turns out. So this should be a very quick episode. Let's get this guy opened up. Probably should have something underneath it, but whatever. Ribeye is by far the best steak in the world. If you don't like ribeyes, I'm sorry for your loss. Wow. But it's just hands down the best steak I've ever had. And this is going to be very simple. I am not going to be marinating this in anything else other than mushroom ketchup. So this guy out, leave all the juices on, and kerplunk. Here we go. Let me move this to the sink. Something cross-contamination. And get him pushed down to the bottom there. I don't know how much this is going to take, but I'm probably going to be using up the rest of my Geo Watkins stuff here. We're just going to pour it in there. Now, luckily I don't need a whole lot, because once you get the air out of here, the marinade is going to just cling right to the steak. So we're going to get rid of all this. Okay, cool. And there we go. I could have poked holes in this with a fork to help include that marinade, into the steak, but I don't think we're gonna have any problems with this. And I really just want to see naturally, if left alone, what does mushroom ketchup taste like marinating a steak? I probably won't even season this thing with salt when it comes time to cook it. I may just add a little bit of pepper. This will be going into the fridge for a couple hours. I don't know how long, and I'll flip it every once in a while to make sure that it gets evenly coated. And from there, I'll see you guys when it's time to cook it. Alrighty, welcome back. So, the steak was marinated for a good 5 hours, I would say, and now I'm ready to cook it. And I have noticed with really salty marinades, traditionally it kind of grazed the meat a little bit, along with, of course, taking it out of the package and you get oxygen into it. So I'm not too worried about that. I don't think it's going to affect the quality, but it does affect the looks before it goes in. I'm not going to add salt to this because I just want the mushroom ketchup to be the salt, and I've added fresh ground black pepper. Of course, salt, pepper for a steak makes a lot of sense. It's what you usually do. I'm going to be placing it down here on the fat cap here just for a little bit. Let that start breaking down a little bit and warming up. It has been cooled mostly to room temperature, which is also the best thing you can do for steaks. So from there, let's get this guy in here. Like I said, I'm going to set it right up on this fat cap. It's fun to say. I'm just going to hold it there. They say traditionally, for depending on how thick your ribeye is and what you're looking for, about 3 to 4 minutes aside on a 400-degree pan is the goal. Considering I don't have any, temperature sensing eyeballs, I don't know how hot this is, but it seems pretty hot. So I'm going to go with probably about 3.5 minutes on the first side, and I may do like 3 minutes on the other side. And quite frankly, we're just going to hope for the best. Steak is one of the things I have not cooked a whole lot of in a cast iron pan. Done on grills, but not exactly on a cast iron pan. So this is kind of an experiment. We'll see what happens. I'll say that's probably good for the fat cap. We're going to spread that oil out. Lay down our first side. So this thing's gonna cook, and I'm hoping the flavors of the mushroom ketchup really stick in there. That's what we're looking for. That's kind of what we're shooting for. And also a medium rare. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to turn out. Once again, steak is not my specialty in general, mainly because it's expensive. It's kind of expensive to experiment with as you're trying to get good at it. But I think 3.5 minutes and then 3 minutes should yield a pretty decent steak. Hopefully that fat gets to soften up a little bit and kind of boil, or not cook, but cook out of the steak, and it becomes very palatable. Mainly, we're wondering about that mushroom ketchup flavor. So I'm going to wrap up cooking this. It's cooking a steak. It's not like you haven't seen it before, so there's no reason for me to keep filming this. So once it's done, I'll transfer back here. I'm going to wash this right now so that's clean, and we'll see how it comes out. All right, it's done. Nice skin on it, good sear. 3.5 minutes, and about 3 minutes on the other side, probably a little bit longer. It wasn't quite 3.5 on the other side either. It's been resting for a few minutes. So what we're looking for is, of course, a medium rare. But mainly, we're here to try to see how mushroom ketchup works with something like steak. So I'm gonna cut it right down the middle-ish here. That fat looks delicious on the outside. What do we got? That's a medium rare for sure. Probably a little bit more on the rare side, but honestly, I kind of like my steaks like that. So let's see. I'm going to cut an end off here, and what we're looking for is mushroom ketchup flavor. So, it's really good. Like, fantastic steak. Ribeyes are the best. I love ribeyes. But I can say, despite sitting for 5, possibly even upwards of about 6 hours, something came up and I couldn't take it out at like 3 hours. Despite sitting in mushroom ketchup for like that long, I honestly can't taste a whole lot of the mushroom ketchup. Yes, there is a flavor of it, kind of, but I would say that a lot of it got lost just in a thick cut of steak such as this. I would say maybe in some other kind of meat that maybe accepts marinades, it may be better, but I really don't know if it's worth mushroom ketchup as a marinade. I think if I just dip this in mushroom ketchup, it would probably taste a lot better. There's definitely the slightest flavor of something different in it, but I can't say that that's worth like a quarter of a bottle of mushroom ketchup. Really good. I could definitely salt this if I wanted to, but it also really doesn't need it. It's just got a good steak flavor to it and peppery and all that kind of good stuff that we really enjoy out of ribeyes. So to answer your question, I would say don't worry about that. You can make a mushroom ketchup gravy, by making a slurry of a little bit of corn starch and some mushroom powder, mushroom ketchup. You could probably make like a dipping sauce or a topping that would do a lot more than marinating it. So cool experiment. I still got a good steak. I'm going to eat a lot of this tonight. Hopefully I don't eat all of it tonight, but it's really good. I haven't had ribeye in a long time, and it's just fantastic. So I'm definitely going to eat this little guy. But hopefully that answers your question. Cool experiment, and I'm getting to eat steak tonight. It's a good night, and I hope everyone has a great weekend coming up. And hey, Happy New Year. Talk to you all later.